Good morning, everyone. So, let's start the second part of this chapter. We are not afraid to die. We were at page number 14. We were at page number 14. So, my dear students, let me tell you actually where we are to start from. Right? We are to start from this particular point. Right? Unexpectedly, my head popped out of the water. Popped out of the water, immediately came out of the water. A few meters away, the wave walker was near capsizing. Wave walker, yes, my boat. My boat was almost capsized. Almost capsized it was. What should I do now? Where should I go? How should I do? What should I do at that time? That was a real problem for me at the time. My boat, my own wave walker was capsized, near capsizing. Her mast almost horizontal. You are not seeing the mast, right? Mast horizontal. Generally, the mast is vertical, but it fell down, it turned over, and it was lying on the water. Then a wave hurled her upright. A huge wave came and straightened it. My lifeline jerked taut. The lifeline that I was wearing, it got jerked. Means the lifeline jacket immediately became tight. I grabbed the guardrail and sailed through the air into the wave walker's main boom. Actually, let me tell you what the main boom actually here is. There it is. Right? The main boom stands for the main part of let me show you here where it is a boom. There it is. There it is, the main boom. This part of, he just caught the rail, this railing was there, and he got inside the boat, in the boom. Subsequent waves tossed me up around the deck like a rag doll. The boat was completely filled with water. Here, the boat was filled with water, right? And I was in the water at that time. It was almost as I told you, it capsized. There. Water was filled inside it. My left ribs cracked, were hurt. My mouth filled with blood and broken teeth. Somehow I found the wheel lined up the stern for the next wave and hung on. Means I straightened the boat and I streamlined it. I brought the boat in the line of the wave so that it should not again hit in the center, right? And its stern, its backside was towards the wave. Water everywhere. I could feel that the ship had water below even. But I dared not abandon the wheel. I could not, you can say, vacate it. I could not vacate it. I could not leave the wheel. Why? Because I had to take control. I couldn't go for investigation even. Come to the next page. Suddenly the front hatch was thrown open and Mary appeared. You know what is a hatch? This is hatch. You must have seen somewhere on the boat that they are absolutely covered, right? And this hatch was open. Inside there is a living space for the voyagers, and it was thrown open, and who came out? Mary appeared from there. She said, "Oh, we are sinking," she screamed. "The decks are smashed." Oh God, the decks were completely smashed, almost broken. Even you can say the deck area that got a big damage. "We are full of water. Come on, take the wheel, I shouted as I scrambled for the hatch. I scrambled for the hatch. I ran towards that hatch and I just shut it, scrambled, so that water should not go inside. Larry and Herb were pumping like madmen. They were pumping the water out. Larry and Herb, they were pumping the water out. There it is, I'll show you. They both were busy pumping the water out. Broken timbers hung at crazy angles. You can see here the I show you. You can see there this part was completely broken and the wood came out with sharp angles. It could hurt anyone. Right? The whole sideboard side bulged inwards. The whole sideboard was bulged inside. That was dented inside, just like this. There are so many dents now, so many openings have been there in the boat. This was the thing. Clothes, crockery, charts, tins and toys sloshed about in the deep water. Sloshed about means they were moving around with the splashing sound, means they were just floating on the boat as it was filled with water. I half swam, half crawled into the children's cabin. Hey, are you all right? I asked. Yes, they answered. They answered from an upper bunk. But my head hurts a bit. Who said? Said Sue. Oh, Papa, my head is hurting, pointing to a big bump above her eyes. No, she received a bump on her eyes. I had no time to worry about the bumped heads. I didn't pay any attention. Right? After finding a hammer, screws and canvas, I struggled back on deck. With the starboard side bashed open, starboard side, this was so many openings you must be seeing here. That was just because they were the openings. Just I show you. Just a minute. There it is. Now I show you how these were bumped out. You can see these are the openings through which the water was coming inside. Now this was a real problem for me. The narrator says. Right? Starboard side bashed open. Bashed open means, what do you mean by bashed here? They were struck open forcibly. We were taking the water with each wave that broke over us. Means wave was hitting it and water was coming inside. If I could not make some repairs, we would surely sink. I thought. Rather, I was convinced that if I couldn't take any step, suddenly there will be problem. You can see at the bottom side, the openings were there. Just like this. Actually, these are not the real photographs of the boat, but I am showing you for the sake of your knowledge how actually it would have happened. Somehow I managed to stretch canvas and secure waterproof hatch covers. Some hatch covers means the openings of the hatches. They were there with me, right? And across the gaping holes. These were the gaping holes, and I just tried to fill that. These were there. Some holes you can see. This is a hole and some a canvas. You must be seeing here the canvas, right? This is the canvas that was fixed there with the help of those screws and hammer, right? That's it. Some water continued to stream below even. Water even started. Still water was coming inside from under it. And There are Herb and Larry, and they were pouring the water out of. They were pumping the water out of that. Right? This was there. Some water continued to stream below, but most of it was now being deflected over the side. Now the water could not come inside just due to these hatch covers. More problems arose when our hand pump started to block up the debris, with the debris floating around the cabins and electric pump short circuited. Oh God, what happened? Some debris. What do you mean by debris? Debris here stand for some scattered pieces of rubbish or wreckage. You can say some garbage was there and it struck the mouth of the pipe and the water blocked. Water blocked, so pump was short circuited. It stopped working. The water level rose threateningly. Back on the deck, I found that our two spare hand pumps had been wrenched overboard. Wrenched, they were somewhere fixed overboard. I had just a provision of two spare hand pumps, and I started just opening it and just started working on it. Along with the forestay sail, we were having some extra forestay sails and zib also. The dinghies. What do you mean by dinghy here? Dinghy means you can say small open sailing boats. So so saving boats, safety boats you can say. They are called dinghies. And the main anchor also. Yes, the main anchor also we did have some spare one also with us. Then I remembered we had another electric pump under the chart room. There it is. There it is, the photograph of the boat, and you can see very well how actually the different parts of the boat, they have been displayed here in this boat. The main mast, and then some shroud. Shroud means to say the zib, right? That's it. I connected it to an outpipe and was thankful to find that it worked. It means the spare pump that we were having, it started working very well. Then I remembered we had another. This has been done. The night dragged on with an endless, bitterly cold routine of pumping, steering, and working the radio. We were continuously, all of us, we were working on pumping the water out. We were steering the boat. Steering the boat here stand for, is just moving the boat and working the radio. Working the radio stand for, working the radio means you are trying to establish the contact with nearby place through radio. Radio stand for the transmitters. We were getting no replies to our mayday calls. What are mayday calls? They are some international distress signals that are sent when some boat or some ship is there in trouble. Then they release some signals in nearby places. They catch it and they come for help. But they were not working even. Why? Because, which was not surprising in this remote corner of the world. Remote corner, a very distant part. Means we were far, far off from the mainlands in the deep southern, you can say, Indian Ocean. So signals could not reach there even. Sue's head had swollen alarmingly, and she had two enormous black eyes also. That was there, right? She had black eyes. And now she showed us a deep cut on her arm also. When I asked why she hadn't made more of her injuries before this, why did she not mention it earlier? Then she replied, "No, father, I didn't want to worry you when you were trying to save us all." So nice the children were. They didn't bother their parents who were just trying to save their life about their injuries. This was the thing. By morning on January 3, the pumps had the water level sufficiently under the control for us to take 2 hours rest in rotation. Thereafter, we took little bit rest, but by and by, first one went for 2 hours, then second. But it means gradually just with our turn, we took 2 hours rest. But we still had tremendous leak somewhere below the waterline, and on checking I found that nearly all the, page change please, all the main rib frames were smashed down to the keel. This is the main rib. The wooden planks with which the boat is made. These are the wooden planks. They are called the ribs. These main ribs of the boat, they were also smashed. They were opened to the keel, to the bottom. In fact, there was nothing holding up a whole section of the starboard hull. The base of the starboard, base of the side, means that was just hanging in the boat. There was no support, and they were not, you can say, properly tightened up, and any time the boat could be damaged more, except a few cupboard partitions. Few cupboard partitions we had just fixed there, and that was stopping the flow of water inside. This was the thing. Then we had survived. We have survived for how long? How much time will it give to us? How much time will it give to us? We had survived for 15 hours since the wave hit. Now, I was just telling you about the hull. This is hull, the blue portion, you can say, that you are seeing in the picture. But the wave walker would not hold together long enough for us reach Australia. Means the boat was not, you can say, stout enough to reach Australia. It was almost damaged, and more damage were expected. I checked our charts and calculated. Then I went inside and checked the chart and calculated that there were 2 small islands a few hundred kilometers to the east. I thought we are just somewhere near 2 islands. There must be 2 islands near about in a few hundred kilometers diameter. One of them, Isle Amsterdam. One of them was Isle Amsterdam. An island was a French scientific base. Actually, this island was occupied by the French people, and they had made their scientific base on it. Our only hope was to reach these pinpricks in the vast ocean. What do you mean by pinpricks? Pinpricks means very small dots. It was just like a very small dots in a very vast ocean. Right? If we compare to a vast ocean, it would be just like pinpricks, just like very small dots. But unless the wind and sea abated, they were decreased in force. So we could hoist sail, so that we could hoist the sail and we could move on. Our chances would be slim indeed. There was no chance for our safety unless or until we just hoist our sail. We just fix our sail on the mast again. The great wave had put our auxiliary engine out of action even. So, my dear children, I sum up here in this part of the video.